Hey, everybody, it's Friday. That means Tony George and Nick Menken, Doc Sports NFL Prop Madness Show. And, of course, we debuted last week. I didn't have a chance to scope the record of how we did, but we're going to good, bad, or indifferent. We got more for you. You're here for free stuff, right? We give you free stuff here at Doc Sports on our YouTube channel. And, of course, on our website, we give you a free $60 if you've never been a member. We'll park it in any new account. Comes with a profit guarantee and absolutely no hassle. So if you're here for free stuff, what a weekend. What do we got? Major League Baseball playoffs. We got our college and pro football cards out right now. And, of course, we're coming to you on Friday. So these are some Friday lines. And interesting game to open up the week last night as the New York Giants looked like Phil Simms was quarterback and Bill Parcells was coaching them back in the and Bill Belichick was defensive coordinator. And nonetheless, they got a big surprise, big upset there on Philadelphia, Nick. And Nick, this is a great week for props because I found the NFL board when it comes to side and total very tricky this weekend, Nick.
Yeah, it's very tricky this weekend. And then the prop market, that's absolutely where you want to look at when they get tricky, especially yesterday. Look what happened. The Giants were all over the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's exactly where I went to. I had a 7-unit player prop on A.J. Brown's receptions over 4.5. He finished with 6 there and his yardage. We went 2-0 on the prop market yesterday. Marquee game again, and we capitalize in the prop market there. So there's value all over the board here, not maybe so much on the side of the total, but hey, props all day in those marquee matchups. So I'm ready to go this weekend. Got a couple on the board here that I'm already eyed up, and I'm jacked up here, Tony.
Yeah, I've been struggling the last couple of weeks with my premium NFL props. I tell it like it is. And I've been crushing it in baseball and WNBA. I think I've had 3 losses all year in the WNBA. I don't put them out every day, obviously, but I mean, we've been tearing it up there. But my NFL, I'm going to rectify that this weekend. One thing I wanted to talk to everybody out, I'll give the first pick out for you. I like field goal kicker props. And I like the fact that Vegas odds makers don't make a lot of adjustments. And I'm going to give you a prime example of what I'm looking at if you do your research. So let's take a look. First thing I do every week is I take a look at the bottom 5 red zone offenses in the NFL. And they're the Giants, the Raiders, Chargers, Saints, and 49ers. Those are the 5 worst NFL red zone offenses year to date. The first thing you want to do if they can't convert in the red zone in terms of touchdowns, they're going to kick a friggin' field goal. Let's take a look at San Francisco this weekend against a Tampa Bay defense that's going to be pretty pissed off about the yards and points they allowed last week up in Seattle. And they're at home against a beatable team that's a little beat up offensively. McCaffrey has not practiced all week. San Francisco minus Kittle. They're minus some wide receivers. They get in the red zone. Their kicker, this guy has had at least 2 or more in every single game this year. His prop over 1.5 field goals is minus 115. Think about that, Nick. When you see, if you had something that lopsided on a side or a total trend, books would react immediately. They don't do it so much in the NFL. So, nonetheless, let's go ahead and take that boy in the
That's a hidden gem. That's a hidden gem right there.
Eddie Pinheiro, San Francisco, over 1.5 field goals at minus 150. This might even make the premium card. He had 4 against the Rams when they beat the Rams on Thursday night.
That's a
FYI.
hidden gem. That is a hidden
Hopefully
gem
he's
right there.
rested up. He was tired of kicking field goals. So hopefully he's gotten a lot of rest with the extra time off. So since they played on Thursday. What do you got, Nick?
Yeah, we started off last week with a quarterback prop, so let's go right back to it. We had Jared Goff over 30, and I told you guys to go all the way up to 250 on Jared Goff for plus money. He ended that game 258 through the air there. We cashed in, and hopefully you guys watching cashed in. Let's go right back to the quarterback position here. We got the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Baltimore Ravens here. What did the Ravens do? They got their butts whipped last week, 44-10 against the Houston Texans there. And I'm looking at Matthew Stafford in this one. His over-under right now sitting at 258 in passing yards and a minus 110 here, folks. Stafford leads all NFL in passing yards. He's over 1,500 yards through 5 games here. That's about an average of 300 yards through the air. And since 2010, I will say, Tony, Matt Stafford's played the Baltimore Ravens 4 times. In those 4 times, he has an average of 262 yards through the air against the Baltimore Ravens defense. Now, we know the Baltimore Ravens defense is banged up. You saw it last week against the Houston Texans here, and they were already weak against the pass, and now they're allowing 262 yards through the air on the defensive side this season. I think Stafford has a big game, especially after that loss to the 49ers there. I think he bounces back and he moves the ball efficiently early on in this game. We're going over Matthew Stafford's passing yards, 258 total passing yards at a minus 110. Absolutely love this player prop, Tony.
Again, the lines are soft. The lines are soft. Now, things don't go to script. I went with the Eagles last night on my script. With Hurts over 14 yards this Saturday for the longest rush. He had, he just did. It wasn't my night. I have trouble sometimes with singled out games. I'm better when I'm spreading them out across the board, because if the game doesn't go to script, what you think was going to happen, and you're on, especially on over props, you get screwed. And that's what happened to me. I saw speaking of the Ravens, interesting stat about Derrick Henry. What happened to Derrick Henry? Now, over the last 2 years, he was the number 1 running back in yards after contact. This year, he's second to last in the NFL. That's interesting. Interesting stat. That's just how far Baltimore is.
They're crumbling. They are crumbling right now, Tony.
And obviously, injury issues. Whenever you take out an MVP at quarterback, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to struggle. The guys were the full touchdown, on the spread, which is why LA's favored. Speaking of quarterbacks, guess who leads the league in interceptions this year? And I'm well aware of it. After Monday night, that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. And what is Seattle doing with Sam Darnold? They're throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to throw the ball a lot in this game against Jacksonville. It's probably going to be a shootout. Now, Darnold over 0.5 interceptions is plus 105. That's right. Jacksonville's averaging 2 a game.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the over on interceptions with Sam Darnold in the Jacksonville-Seattle game this Sunday. What else we got, Nick?
Yeah, let's go to a Monday night showdown. We got the Buffalo Bills taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are at home in this one. And I got to look at this running back that I am so high on. Came out of Texas, Bijan Robinson here. I'm looking at his over in his rushing yards here. It's sitting at 78 in the last 5 games. He has 484 yards. He's almost averaging 100 yards on the ground here per game in his last 5 games. And you look at that first game against a good Minnesota defense that kind of is similar to this Buffalo defense, I must say. Their secondary is a little bit stronger, but they're a little weaker on the defensive front here for the Buffalo Bills as well. He finished with 143 yards in that game. He had 22 carries. He's going to be carrying the ball a ton here, especially off a bye week. And this game's at home here. In the Bills defense, they're averaging 145 rushing yards allowed per game here. I think Bijan Robinson, they're going to go to this guy. He's going to be a playmaker for the Falcons on primetime Monday Night Football here. It's the early game, but questions are the Bills' defensive line here. I think Bijan Robinson exploits it. He has a big game, and the Atlanta Falcons have a big game. And the Bills are going to be hungry after that loss against the Patriots there. But this is prime time game here, and the line suggests it. I think Bijan Robinson has a massive game here in the run game. Give me over 78 rushing yards for Bijan Robinson on Monday night, Tony.
Second best running back in the NFL, in my opinion. I think he is. He's absolutely dynamic. He can catch balls out of the backfield. He can run north and south. He can run side to side. He's got speed. He's got strength. He was unbelievable in college. He's been unbelievable in this new system the last couple of years, especially this year. And as you mentioned, the Buffalo Bills ain't all that. Number 28 against the run in the NFL right now. That defense is their biggest Achilles heel, because they can score with anybody, but you saw it on Monday. You saw it on Sunday night. Yep. I took the Patriots plus the 8. I didn't think they would win it, but I went ahead and took the points. I thought it might be 3 points one way or the, in Buffalo's favor. But nonetheless, another primetime game for Buffalo this week. And Nick likes Bijan Robinson. Let's stick with running backs here. I'll give you one more. Breece Hall, debut. They're in London, taking on the Denver Broncos. Now, forget about the rushing yards. Let's talk about the receiving yards. Did you know that the Denver Broncos defense, as much praise as they've gotten, have allowed over 30 yards receiving to every starting running back they played this year?
Wow.
Breece Hall, he's had 30-plus receiving yards in 4 out of 5 games. Over 29.5 yards receiving is sitting around minus 120. Again, you have scenarios that line up where books ought to be trending this, making you pay, and yet the door's wide open. I like that play, because what are they going to do? What's he going to do under a heavy pass rush, Fields? If he doesn't take off and run it, he's going to dump it to his running back. And Breece Hall, we all know, he can break some big ones. Definitely break some big ones. He can't get in the end zone in the rush game, because I had him last week against Dallas's defense, and the son of a bitch couldn't punch it in. But, it is what it is. That's Breece Hall, New York Jets, over 29.5 yards receiving here in that early game in London on Sunday. One more for the road, Nick?
Yeah, I absolutely love that Breece Hall play. And we had Breece Hall for myself here on the show. Anytime touchdown, he's still yet to get in the end zone there. I think he does this weekend. But let's go to another quarterback here. A team that was off last week in a bye. We got to go with Jordan Love here. His passing yards per game, averaging 250 passing yards. His line right now against the Cincinnati Bengals secondary, and the Cincinnati Bengals, well, they got Joe Flacco here at quarterback. One that I think the Green Bay Packers will have most possession of the football in this one. I like his over 241.5 passing yards is this line here. And like I said, he's averaging 250. So this line is under his average, and his completion rate is at a 69.4. It's almost at a 70% here, which is great for a national football starting quarterback here. In the last game against the Cowboys, he had 337 yards there. And they're coming off a bye week, like I said, and they're going to have fresh legs on that offensive side. Cincinnati Bengals, still question marks, especially on that offensive side. So I think Jordan Love has huge success against this Bengals defense here. I love his over in the yards, 241.5 passing yards at a minus 110 here. Tony, love Jordan Love as well.
Well, I like the scenario for Green Bay. I know they're laying 15 points. Flacco didn't move the line at one single point.
Not a bit.
But it's interesting. They have 2 losses, Browns and Cowboys, and that Cowboys game was a debacle. You don't think if LaFleur can hang 40-something on Cincinnati, he won't do it? Hell yeah, they'll do it. So, folks, that's it for today's show. Doc Sports NFL Prop Madness. My buddy Nick right there, kicking ass and taking names in the prop market. I'm going to this weekend. And I'm going to have a big card. I'm going to spread it around with a lot of lower unit picks because there's a lot of opportunity in the market. There's only have 2 plays on Sunday in the NFL, one a top pick. I have 2 side plays, and then I have just a teaser. And then a small play on Monday night. It's one of those weeks to, tiptoe through the tulips lightly, but attack the prop market.
Yep.
We're ready for you there, Docs. Free $60 right there. There's the link. We'll park it in any new account. Comes with a profit guarantee and no hassles. Prop cards are $25. You get Nick's, you get mine on Sunday. You got $10 left over. That'll buy you a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Go over there and get it. Thanks for tuning in to Doc Sports Prop Madness here on Friday. Good luck this weekend. We'll see you over at the website.